There is nothing in breast milk from another species, not even my own mother's breast milk, that can solve an issue for me. It's just unnecessary at this point. And when you actually think about what we are doing, we are pushing the baby aside and sucking cow udders. It's like, am I in a bad dream here? Like, wake me up from this nightmare.
I agree to what you're saying.
I think about it this way. If we could save lives and rescue lives that already exist, instead of breeding more into existence, I think that GEV is creating a perfect example for everything else. For spirituality, sustainability, why not just go that little extra step and outlaw dairy? What the hell is up? My name is Jamie Logan, and today I am with my friend Anmol, who is the animal caretaker. He is an animal rescuer at the Govardhan Eco Village in India, where I've been for a month. And I'm so excited to sit down and do this podcast with you. Thank you.
I am super excited as well. I've been looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we're going to do a lot of talking. A lot of crazy stuff as well.
Between the two of us,
Let's
yeah.
go. Yeah.
We met a few days ago, and I felt like I was talking to an old friend here. I think when anybody that cares about animals as much as I do, I really just respect the work that you're doing. It's like an instant connection kind of thing.
Same here. Yeah.
And so when I first got here, I was looking around and there's a lot of rescued animals here. And I was, really trying to get to the bottom of like, okay, where did these guys come from? What's going on here? And then I met you. So
You're welcome.
Here you are. Thank you. And you took us to a nearby animal shelter who focuses on spay and neuter initiatives. And we talked a lot about the current state of animals here in India and things that can be done to help reduce animal suffering. So in this podcast today, guys, we are going to break down some of these solutions, how individuals can make great impact, and also we're going to talk through your personal story of how you connected to animals and animal rights despite the fact that you did not grow up vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah.
So why don't you just tell me who you are and bring us back to growing up here in India.
India is, as of now, officially 1.4 billion people. Yeah.
Wow.
So growing up here is a very common thing for everyone to have things in common when they grow up. We don't have any unique, individual way of growing up. In my school, I remember in one class, we had almost 70 to 80 students with one teacher. I heard this beautiful phrase somewhere. Growing up in India or being in India is like being a part of an organized chaos. It's an amazing, because learning happens automatically. We don't have to, we just have to observe everything. We have to be comfortable, observe everything and be a part of this organized chaos. It's like a honeybee hive or honeybee comb, where these bees are just moving in all the directions. It looks chaotic, but somehow they get the work done. And that's how normal my growing up was, just like everyone else.
How did people treat animals in your neighborhood?
They're scared. So most of the Indians are scared of dogs, stray dogs. With cats, they're not much scared, but I have seen people reacting to cats as if they have seen some witch's sidekick or something,
Witch?
Especially black cats. So there is this black magic thing, and there's a very old saying here that if a cat crosses your path and then you cross that path, then something wrong is going to happen. So there are a lot of superstitions surrounding that. But yeah, I think apart from cows and maybe parrots, every other creature is feared. Wow. And that's how I also saw. And I also grew up in the same way, where I saw people, whenever they see a dog, they would hit a stone, throw a stone. Cat, shoo them away from the house when the cat comes to the house to drink milk or something like that. More like a survival mode. As if they're going to take something away from us. They're going to hurt us. But when I started coming out of that survival mode, And thanks to my parents, they treated animals really well. My grandparents, they were into animal rescue. Even though we used to eat animals and also rescue. So it took me a while to, wrap my head around it or understand this, that I'm on one hand I am eating animals, on the other hand I am rescuing animals. So am I doing it for the animals or am I doing it for myself just to feel good? So that was a very long journey, maybe years, till I became 15, 16, 17, 18, I guess. And that's when I started questioning. But yeah, till then I was addicted to all the food stuff. So it required a lot of deconditioning and then reconditioning and then application. So my point is that the more self-aware a person is, and the more they come out of this survival mode of living, the more you will automatically start connecting with everyone around you.
Right. I think you bring up a really important point when you talk about the survival aspect that a lot of human beings in parts of India are experiencing, where they themselves don't have access to food, water, sometimes shelter.
Yeah.
And so the idea of caring for a stray dog or stray cat is just a complete afterthought, if that. And so I think it does kind of bring things into a little bit of a different perspective. However, what I don't understand is that shift of let's be violent towards them. Maybe it's like out of a fear instinct. You were telling me a story on the bus when I asked you about, okay, well, why would somebody burn puppies alive? Like, we went to this animal shelter, and this woman who was an animal rescuer and has dozens of dogs and cats that she rescues.
We need to bring her here.
We have to bring her
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
show. Her name's Lynette. She's doing incredible work. And she was telling us a story about how she came home late last night from an abuse case where she showed up and this guy was trying to light puppies on fire. They were covered in gasoline and she ended up rescuing them. But can you just talk a little bit about why and how in the world somebody could do something like this?
I'm pretty sure that person was not enjoying what he was doing, but I'm also pretty sure why he did that. And it's just built up frustration. And they just want an out. And when they see someone who is naive, who is not protected, who can't fight, weak. So weak people are the best, victims or best targets for another weak people who are stronger than them. Because only weak can hurt another weak. But if you compare the two, the other person was stronger. They definitely have some of the other frustration built up in their head. As you said, survival. They don't have enough money. They don't have food to eat. They may be having some starving children or a family in crisis. And they try to sleep in the night. And then the puppies started barking because the puppies are also hungry, or else they won't bark.
Right.
And then this person in ultimate frustration ends up venting it. And the puppies can't defend. So if you ask that person's heart in a very stable, when the person was not frustrated, no one can enjoy doing that. You have to be sad to do something like this, to not feel the other person's sadness. You have to be in pain to not to feel a lesser pain. So this guy most probably is in more pain than those puppies because he can't understand that pain. This is one of the main reasons for that, because if you see human wise, only few percent of people will actually enjoy doing this.
Right.
Other than that, no one can even think of doing a ghastly act like this.
Right. And it's this idea or concept that these animals are less than us or that they don't feel pain the same way that we do, which then they believe entitles them to act the way that they do. And even here at the Govardhan Eco Village, it's an ISKCON community and temple. When you look back 10 years ago at how animals were treated versus now, it's very different. So can you tell me a little bit about that shift over time?
Yes, I would be very happy to say this because we have come a long way. And I don't think it was due to any kind of suppressed emotions or lack of feelings and all that. I think it was because of the conditionings. Like I said, when I was a kid, there were conditionings, and then I grew up. So when a person is very strongly conditioned, takes a lot of time to and recondition them. So the conditionings were so strong, the ideas were so firmly built in the mind that it took a lot of time to rub them off. Lot of time, lot of effort. So conditioning is one, and second, unfortunately, the word is ignorance. If we think that we know everything, that means we are the biggest ignorant person. We are not curious about knowing things. That's where the brain stops braining. Yeah. So ignorance was a very big. They took things for granted. So I'll like share a conversation that I had many years ago here, that when I asked them a question that what will the dogs eat? So the person replied with a very plain heart, but in a state of little ignorance, that it's a dog. It'll find something on the hill and eat. So now this person is, by that, at that time was 55 years old. So when this person was a kid, dogs had a lot of food available on the hill. There were a lot of, small animals, moles and all that, sometimes hare also, rabbits also. Dogs would eat them. And that's how the nature would take its course.
They also ate a lot of scraps from people because dogs,
Yeah.
are very much scavengers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people would, if there was extra chapatis.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, that scavenging was done from the kills of the big animals. So that's how the dogs would survive. So this person was carrying that same thought of, if this is happening since past, this should happen work also. That is upright innocent ignorance. That's what I call it. So it took some time. It took some examples. It took some years actually. And it also took a lot of effort from Sharon G.
Sharon G, the founder.
Sharon G, yeah, the one and only. Let's go, Sharon.
Our girl
You're
Sharon.
listening to this. I'm extremely grateful to you. Yeah. My 3 years, her 3 words were equally impactful.
Yes, and for people listening that might not know who Sharon is, she's the founder of Jivamukti Yoga, which is the teacher training program that I am at right now. And Jivamukti is a path to enlightenment through compassion for all living beings. So they're very, very animal rights activist focused and just social activism focused.
Yeah.
And the whole point is like, if we can raise people's consciousness and spirituality, then they would be less inclined to want to cause harm, destruction,
Yeah.
and in turn they would be more connected to the earth. So why don't you share how Jivamukti and Sharon and David have impacted the treatment towards animals here?
Actually, it began with her itself. When I was not there back in 2012, 13, 14. And when she saw a person being not so sensitive towards a dog, the dog was not harmed, but this person was just a little insensitive. Just shoot the dog away or threw a little stone, a small pebble towards it. It's nowhere close to hitting a dog, just throwing in the direction of the dog. And when she saw that, it was like seeing a large scale crime happening for her. I mean, look at the difference in sensitivity here. The intentions were not bad. The person just wanted to shoo the dog away. But the sensitivity of Sharon Ji was so strong back then that she created a pretty interesting a scene, but in a very subtle way. She didn't make a scene. But then she made sure that this person is brought in front of the dog, and the person ended up apologizing to the dog on his knees. On literally, the dog was sitting right in front. The man was sitting here, standing here. He went down, he paid little obeisances to the dog and said, "I am sorry." That day is still talked about. And that's where other people also realize that this is the kind of sensitivity a person can carry. But it didn't have an immediate impact, but it started a movement, you can call it. It started something, and that thing in a way has led to today.
Wow. She
Where
is revolutionary.
she is.
I adore her. And I find that the reason I think that we became so close is because we share that same level of compassion and sensitivity for all living beings, I'd like to think, and all animals. And we need to kind of ignite that activist nature in all people and to get people to speak up for others how they would want to be spoken up for if they were the victim, like really placing yourself in that perspective. And that's really what yoga is. When you take on these different asanas, when you're in downward facing dog, you're in a different perspective of the dog. When you're in crow, you're in the perspective of the bird. Cobra, you're in that perspective. It's a lot of animal shapes and forms. And so being able to like see things through a different lens and then act accordingly, I think is really beautiful. And so this change that you've seen with animals, it took time, but we're getting to a point where it's now spreading to other parts of the world, other ISKCON temples and communities. Because guys, this is a really big group. I mean, the Hare Krishna movement, it is massive, millions of people and growing. And Radhanath Swami, who is one of the head people, the head person here at the Eco Village, he has temples all over the world. He feeds vegan meals to I think it's 1.2 million a day.
It's a pretty big number. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the impact that one person could have. So tell me how you got looped into animal rescue in the first place, and then how you ended up here.
My parents, as I said, were a big, they played a big role. And I don't know what happened. Something just changed when I saw an animal being abused. I really don't have words to it, but something in my heart spoke to me that this is not supposed to happen to that animal who has not done anything, who is just being an animal. That animal may have behaved in a non-friendly way, but then that's how they are. We can't stop someone from being themselves. Yeah, if they're hurting us, we can protect ourselves. But hurting them is a completely different, taking it to a completely different level. So that's where I actually started speaking up for them. And back then I was maybe in my school or college days. And then I never stopped. And then when I came here, I experienced the same thing, that the people are not bad. Their heart, if you see the Hare Krishnas, their sensitivity towards everything is so refined. Just imagine the entire movement, the entire, this institute is based upon their eventual goal is to fall madly and deeply in love with Krishna. Whatever they do, this is their end game.
Which is love. The word Krishna, God, divine, whoever that is to you, it just truly means love and connected to your true self.
Yes.
Capital S.
Exactly. So that's what these guys aim for. So there is no chance they can be insensitive towards something. And then if they can connect the same type of sensitivity towards these living beings, it's like connection to God only in a way. I remember some of the people who are totally into yoga and bhakti and everything, they speak so highly of their pets that this connection that I felt with my pet actually gave me experience of love. And now I know what love is. There are so many people who never wanted to be parents. So they got a puppy and they experience love of a child. And guess what? They ended up getting kids also after that.
And they're like, the dog was way better.
That happens in teenage. Till teenage it's fine, I guess. So see how an experience of a love, which is given to you by, let's say, a puppy or a cat or any other animal, led you to a higher form of love. And this is their first-hand experience that they're talking about.
Yeah.
They were in depression. They were not going through a good time. And this is who it was besides them. And that's it. it was a game changer for them.
So they're loyal.
They just need a little food and a little love, and they'll do anything that you want them to do.
Yeah. And so, and you made this connection, and then now you're dedicating your life to service for animals and
I have no option. Once you're in it, you can't get out, right?
no, you
I
can't.
mean, you have to do it. Sometimes I feel it's like a losing war, especially when I'm in India. The street dogs, so many cats, so many other animals, they are not treated in a good way. And I can't protect them all. So sometimes I have to be a little selfish and do it for myself so that I don't stop doing it. Because if I see everyone in so much pain and all that, I'll just shut myself down. Okay, I can't do it anymore. So I had to become a little hard skinned as well, hard hearted as well, to actually take it to another level. It's like first falling in love and then taking responsibility, then getting married. After marriage, responsibility is more than love sometimes.
Yeah.
So I am at that stage that I have almost, I've seen so many animals dying in front of me. I can't take it anymore. So I have to harden myself a little bit. I have to make myself a little hard-hearted so that I can deal with that losses and continue my work. There are many friends that I know who are in the same animal rescue group. They have stopped rescuing
They
animals
burn out.
because they can't see them in pain anymore.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you have to realize, okay, what can I do? And recognize the small victories along the way. So, in your opinion, what is the single biggest thing that we can do for animals?
Each one save one. if this is the big problem. I don't know about the other countries, but I'll tell you about India. Even if every building or even if every family ends up adopting, and not by adopting, I don't mean taking them to your house, by just taking care of one street animal, be it anyone, any animal, be it a cow, or there are so many street cows on the roads and everything. The entire animal menace problem which is there will go away.
But then they keep breeding, right? So,
They have to be, the population has to be got under control. It may feel unethical to do that or unnatural that we are going against Mother Nature.
to like chop their balls off.
To,
Okay.
yeah, good way of putting it.
I just want to make sure everybody's following here.
Make them a celibate.
Okay.
But yeah, better way of putting it.
Okay.
But
Listen, we are in an ashram,
yeah,
so
yeah,
listen,
so
if they
why
want,
not?
if they want to live here, they have to follow the rules.
Exactly. These are not my words. These are some other person's words as well, which I'm borrowing. So we have to get this done. Their predators have been pretty much extinguished by us, we humans. Their preys have been taken away by us. They are only and only dependent on human food.
Right. We're talking about cats and
Cats and
dogs.
cats
Yeah.
and stray dogs.
Right.
So if we don't undo our bad, then it's causing imbalance. In India alone, it was just last year, 72 million dogs are there. Just in India.
And you think about how many get hit by cars, the ones that are paralyzed. I mean, at this shelter we went to
Millions.
the other day, it was like one was missing half of his face. Another one, the legs didn't work in the back, but he was scooting around. I mean, at least there is a quality of life, you know? I think when it comes to that, though, when there is an animal that is suffering or in need, what is your stance on euthanasia? I know in India with karma and
It has to do with karma, that a person comes with their karma, and if we take their life before it, then the person has to take another life. This is karma perspective. But if you're put on the spot, it becomes very difficult to look at them suffer.
right.
Very, very difficult. You have to take that call on the basis of time, place, and circumstance. If you can sedate them, if you can manage their pain and let them live a life and die a natural death, good for you. But if they are in a state where they are going to survive, they are going to live, but they are going to be in immense pain and you can't do anything about it, then unfortunately, you should take that step. It's a very controversial thing here, But I'm just telling you what I do.
Okay.
It's or else, and yeah, another practical thing. They require a lot of care as well.
Yeah.
And we are already short-handed. It may sound ruthless, but this is how I've become hard-skinned now. Because there are so many to cater to, and if there is a weak link, again, using an insensitive word, but it's a fact, especially in rescue shelters like here. But the rescue shelter that we went to, they don't euthanize. They take care till the last breath. So, as I said, if you are capable of managing the pain and serving them, no chance of euthanasia, no going against nature. We can't take everything in our hand.
Right.
But if you are helpless, then you have to take that path.
Because there's also this idea of when you die, the practice of dying, which yoga teaches, is that you are trying to become enlightened or exit. They say the best way is through the top of the head, and so through euthanasia, you're preventing that soul from traveling to wherever they
It's
need
journey,
to go.
basically.
Yeah. And I mean, look, there's so many different perspectives of like what happens after we die. Nobody really knows, but specifically in with Hindu traditions and culture, and yoga, I'm learning kind of about that way, and it is a tough call because it's like, do you sit there and do you just watch this animal that may have a tumor on his face live a couple more weeks, or do you take that call? And I don't know. I would just remember about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, my dog, who's almost 15, she is amazing, and the person that I love the most, okay? Like, she really is, I think, what made me the activist that I am today for animals. And she developed heart disease around like 11 years old, like 10 or 11, and she's on 5 different heart medications. I mean, expensive stuff. And about a year and a half ago, she developed this cough, and it sounded like she couldn't breathe, and she was sleeping. She stopped eating for a week, and my family and I were like, we think it's time. It's like when the bad days outweigh the good days, people say that's when you know. And so I flew out to Miami to go visit my mom, and we thought we were going to have to put her down. And I mean, the sound of her trying to breathe, it was horrible to listen to this, and I didn't know how much pain she was in because she couldn't tell us. And as soon as I got there, she kind of perked up a little bit, and she started eating, and she would have like a burst of energy and then be completely out. And we actually didn't end up euthanizing her, and she's still with us to this day. It's like a year and a half later, and she's going blind, she's sort of deaf, but she
But you
is
never
eating.
know. Yeah.
She's using the bathroom, she's playing, at times. And so I don't know.
Wow, that's a pretty hope-giving story, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing to become so close to an animal like that.
And I'll tell you one more thing regarding this. This is just my personal experience because I come across a lot of pet parents who end up euthanizing their dogs. No matter how justified it was, which I believed in. In fact, I have only suggested twice. Somehow, these people, they don't find peace for a long, long time.
Really?
So I have no idea how to put this, but I'm just explaining. I'm just talking about my experience. The ones who did not euthanize, at that point, they went through a big sorrow. That pain was too much for them to handle, but they were peaceful inside. Uh, I don't know how to put it, but the afterburn was not that intense. The ones who did that, I could see it in their eyes. I have no idea what it was, but they carried something
Really?
with them. Unless and until you are completely ignorant and on a completely different level where you are functioning like a robot or something. then these things will not impact you. Or maybe they are impacting you, but you are not aware of it only.
Right. Yeah, it's this idea of, do we help them transition gracefully and let them die peacefully by themselves? Sharon always talks about how animals know a lot more about death than we do. And it's so interesting to see that, maybe they actually know what's happening and what comes after, right? We try to act like, oh, we're so different than them and we know everything and we know about death. We don't know a damn thing about it. And right before coming here, actually, Sharon and David lost their cat, Pushti Mom. And the cat was sick for a couple weeks, and I was there like a week before she passed and transitioned, and they would play like an Om chant in the room, and she like knew she was just resting. She went to this specific spot in the library on the couch, and that was her place. And Sharon said that almost every single one of her cats died in that same spot on the couch. Look, and it comes down to, it's like, when you have an animal that's been with you most of their lives and they've lived a good life, they reach a point where they get to old age and they transition. It's like, even with my dog, I look at it this way. I'm like, what more could I have given this animal, and what more could we have done? Like, we are all going to die one day, and there's so many animals that never experienced love, never had a name, a home. And so it doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah.
But there is,
This point of death, they are much more aware of themselves than we are. We are fearful of death. They don't have fear of death. Have you seen these small cats squaring up against these hyenas and everything, big dogs? They just go for it. I mean, I know it's a very survival kind of a mode where they don't have the awareness that they are going to die, but they are extremely aware. The cat thing, same happened with the most special dog of this place. His name was Mangul. All the devotees here had named him Mangul because every morning he would visit the Mangal Aarti of temple without fail. For years, even more than a decade.
He would just sit there as they
He would
the
just
prayers.
sit there, yes.
Oh.
He would sit there, and that's why he was named by the devotees. Some monks named him that's what I was told.
Wow.
He was here before I came. And that was his nature. He was one of the most humble, noble, yet intelligent dogs. I've never met a person like that, what to speak of a dog like that.
Wow.
That was his level of sensitivity and understanding, how he dealt with his peers, how he dealt with his seniors, how he dealt with other junior dogs, how he read the situation, when to fight, when to flight. It was as if he was gifted us or something like that. And he was a crazy mountain lover. Whenever I would go to a hike, he would come with me. Once he was sick, a little feeling unwell. So I went for the hike, I didn't take him. So I kept the door closed. And he started screaming and shouting for next 1 hour. And by that hour, I was almost 70% up. Someone opened that door, and in 30 minutes, he was right there besides me. That was his love for mountains. And do you know how, before his passing, whenever he would get any kind of illness, like once a bee bit him and his entire face became like a bear's face. And then whatever would happen to him, I was the first person he would come to. Once he had got an injury here, he came to my house. He had got a little limp, came to my house. So I would always take care of him and he would take care of me. This one time, he just vanished and he was gone for 2-3 days. And I was like, this has never happened before. And where did he go? So we all started searching for him. He somehow found, and he was old. So for a Indian street dog, 13, 14, 15 is a great age. 10, 11, 12 is like an average to okay age. It's like in their 80s. He found one of the best spots on the foothill of this hill where there was a nice stream running and a nice soft space with some sand. He just lied there and left his body there.
Wow.
Never came to me for help. So when he needed help, he knew that I can be rescued. So let me go to the particular person. But when he knew that his time has come, because I'm sure he would come to me. Since years he was coming to me. This one time he didn't come. He knew that he's going to pass.
Wow.
And that's where he lied down and he just left.
Wow. You really do become friends with the dogs that are here. There's like a pack of a couple dozen stray dogs, I would say.
Yeah.
And there's particularly like 5 that I know well now at this point. Like I had 2 walk me to my room last night as I was walking back by myself late, and they literally walked me directly to my door. I was
Escorts.
like, all right, thanks boys. See you later. And it really, so being that you live here and that you are around the animals all the time, it becomes part of your tribe, your own pack. So can you tell me a little bit about the animal care that is here and who lives here?
So we have a big community here. More than 200 people stay here. More than 100 people visit here they work here. And on a weekly basis, more than maybe 2, 3, 4, 5,000, depending on the week, they visit here. We have almost more than 100 rooms, 120 rooms where people come, they stay for a day, 2 days, for a month, for a yoga course, for Ayurveda treatment, for so many other things. So basically, it's a happening place. There are a lot of villages around, and all these villages, every house has a dog in front of it. And all these dogs, they keep multiplying every year. So almost 100 to 150 dogs, puppies take birth every year.
Oh no.
Minimum. And they just wander everywhere. So when the first time I went to the villages, this was 4 or 5 years ago, and I gave them the idea that we can actually, get them operated and they will not give birth again. And they were like, why are you again forcing yourself on nature? But then this year, they are coming to me and saying, take my dog.
Yeah, it's like we've created the problem in the first place. These animals are already here. Now we got to deal with the problem. Yeah, take my dog. Neuter the dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it actually helps them in the long run. Like,
Exactly.
they become very aggressive if they're not neutered, and it can cause just mass suffering when you see puppies that are on the street getting hit by cars and dying. It's like we want to prevent and reduce the suffering where we can. Yeah. So there's also donkeys that are here, horses. I saw some goats, sheep, I think, as well.
Sheep, goats, donkeys, horses, a lot of cows.
Cows. So yeah, there are a lot of cows. You guys seem to maintain a number at around 90.
Yes, 90 to 100.
90 to 100. So let's talk a little bit about what a gaushala is and where a lot of these cows came from and what the state of their care is now.
So the concept of gaushala is it's an unnatural concept. It's a very recent concept. So if you go back in the time, so I'm not justifying that because things that were happening in the past may not be valid now.
Right.
It's common sense. It doesn't have to work now. Every house had a cow. Like how here every house has a dog. Like that every household had a cow, had a bull. And the bulls, they were always used for farming, plowing, and there were other purposes as well. Work basically, some of the other work, because back then we didn't have tractors and machineries and everything. So we had bull power for our farmings and everything. And cows were again used for milk. And they would also, without birth, the cow can't milk. Right. So this cycle would continue. The population of cows, which is now, back in the day was times 10 or times 100 even. That was the consumption of milk in this country.
So it was more back then, or it's
much more back then?
There were more cows.
Much more. Now there is a shortage of cows, and that's why they are put in factories. Yes.
There's a shortage of cows?
Shortage of cows.
No way. I was just going to say, even the small villages.
Isn't it interesting?
When they give birth, because India is the largest exporter of beef and leather.
I was getting there.
Yeah. So meaning that, there are a lot of animals that are maybe in factory farms or in these villages. But the point is that even a small farmer, let's say they start off with a bull and a cow, then that couple has a child. Yeah. And then next thing you know, it's multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. And it suddenly is not that small farm anymore because the cow only produces milk for a year and a half, if at most.
Max, yeah.
Most. And so with that idea in mind, a lot of farmers will say, well, once my cow stops producing milk, they just release them on the street. And that's why you see a lot of stray cows just walking around the streets
Now
in
you
India.
do, yes.
And so some people have set up gaushalas, which are places where these spent dairy cows go.
Yeah.
However, here, it's a gaushala, but there are some cows and bulls that are allowed to mate.
Yes. So around 10% of the cows and bulls, they are allowed to mate. The rest of them are sterilized and neutered.
And what is the purpose of that?
To maintain the family tradition, to maintain the generation.
Oh, cringe. Should we maintain a culture of slavery because it was traditional? Like, no.
They are only for us. So here, over there,
Yeah.
these cows are a part of our tribe
Okay.
since forever. Like even before GV happened, we had these cows. So they were in another location. So we are actually growing up together with them. Every house had a cow in every village. So imagine how many villages in India. There were no cities back then. There were hardly any city establishments. But let me now complete that part. Where did the imbalance happen? The work of bulls, it got taken over by machines. The job that humans would do of farming, humans started going more towards the technology area. Last 100 years or so, the industrial revolution happened. So the use of their energy got more diverted into this way. And these cows, they became extras. And that's where they started going on the streets and everything. Then the gaushalas came and the gaushalas took them and all that.
Okay. So many things come to mind with this because, when it comes to the idea of serving the animals, to me, that means not looking for ways to take things from them.
Yeah.
Now, I understand, okay, they're going to have a baby. The babies are allowed to take some of the milk. They don't keep them separate all the time.
Full, till the baby is full.
Till the baby's full, and then they take whatever excess because
But
cows.
this is the ideal thing, which
Yeah.
is not followed in 99% of the country.
Right. We're just talking about here
Yeah,
specifically.
here specifically.
Absolutely. And the cows are bred that way to be genetically modified. Like technically, when we look back at cows years ago, you would not see excess milk being produced, and especially not with the additional hormones that dairy farmers give them to produce that extra milk.
100%, yes.
And so, that all being said, if the idea is to serve them, I believe that we shouldn't be looking for ways to see what we can take from them. And there's 4 things that I find just wrong about dairy in general, whether it's here, the way that they do it, or at a, large scale factory farm. The first thing is, in commercialized dairy, there is forced impregnation. I don't need to even go any further in that because we know that that's wrong.
It is, yeah.
Here, they are putting the male and the female together, closing the pen and leaving them in here. To me, that is a violation of, like, what if that female doesn't want to be in there with the male? I don't think that is like humans interfering with nature yet again, trying to get these two together to mate. And that, to me, I don't find that is ethical to do. And then the second part is, once that baby is born, it's like, okay, well, now we are taking some of the milk. I fully don't understand what they're doing with because it's only a little bit that they're able to get.
Exactly. So we don't even use that milk.
No.
Yeah.
The milk that's here comes from other dairy farms, which is a whole issue in itself.
Which we have to take a look into, because that's where you're right.
Yes, absolutely. But again, there's to feed the amount of people that want the dairy here,
No
there's
chance.
no ethical way to do it.
No chance.
It's not a cow.
When it's mass production, then
Yeah.
ethics goes out of.
Absolutely. Because there's no way that farmer, once you have a bull, once you have a cow, that then they have babies, and then let's say there's, over the years, you got, okay, now double the size, now triple the size. There's no way that they're going to take all the males that aren't doing anything for them, feed them, house them, give them water, all these things, when it becomes not profitable for that dairy farmer.
Liability.
Exactly. And then, of course, you have the hormones that are given in the dairy farms, but then at this place, there's not any hormones, so they're not getting that much milk anyway. I mean, I think about it this way. For a cow and any female to give birth, it is a very painful process. It is a very intensive thing for a female to go through. And yes, we do it. I mean, that's how we're here and people do it and whatnot. But if we could save lives and rescue lives that already exist instead of breeding more into existence, I think that GEV is creating a perfect example for everything else, for spirituality, sustainability. Why not just go that little extra step and outlaw dairy completely?
That'll be a big service to the industry of cows, actually.
Yes.
If we can do that.
And just rescue the ones that are down the road that are
But
stray.
there is a plan B also, to show a more sustainable model, a more cow friendly model, like what they are doing. It's a long shot, but they don't want that tradition to die. There is another angle. There is another thing here. What will be the contribution? See, cows in nature, they are not wild animals.
Right. We've bred them.
No, even in nature, if you see their nature, since Krishna's time, you can say, if you'll read about them, if you live with them, you will understand how simple they are. They don't understand many times how to protect themselves or what to do. Like sometimes when I take them for grazing, one or two cows will just see a little way and they'll go running over there. And we'll all panic. Oh, they've ran.
Oh.
And after 2-3 minutes, they'll come running back.
Oh.
Basically, they're not understanding what is happening. If a predator comes, they are like sitting ducks.
Right.
Even for humans and for any other predator. So the relationship of a cow with humans was always a mutual give and take.
Well, they're dependent because we've made them that way.
Again, their nature is like that. Cow is not a wild animal.
Right.
So they need that protection.
They're domesticated.
They were always like that because there is no history of like how all the dogs were first feral dogs and then slowly they got domesticated. There is no history of cows where they were wild cows. We go into the history of cows.
Well, they come from a specific breed of animal that were wild and that maybe were able to fend for themselves. But besides the point, I mean, I've seen cows escape slaughterhouses back home that can survive in the woods for months to protect their babies.
So that's where they have become, that's their survival mode.
Yeah.
So even a ant becomes like a tiger to protect. So, but if you put them in their safe space, they are extremely simple, and I would like you to spend time with them in that way.
Yeah, no, and I do
understand how they behave.
I do, absolutely. I spend a lot of time with cows, especially at sanctuaries, where it's like that would be a perfect model to have here. Is a sanctuary, and I do have hope that eventually it can get to that. I think that
Me too. We have already started. So there is another branch of our own farm temp community. Just an hour's drive from here. There is a similar type of gaushala, but half of the cows there are all rescued cows.
Okay.
Some of the cows that were going for slaughter, this one of the devotees, he went there and rescued them and got them there. So that is also happening.
Right.
And this breeding, that one point got left out, that when you're keeping two in the room, this happens so that they don't crossbreed. Because if one
Well, they should just be
type of
neutered,
cow-
period. Just like what you're doing with the cats and dogs.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
single cow, they I'm sorry, but they have to be neutered. We just don't need to create more life. And this idea of like, we are their saviors or we are their heroes, when we've bred them to be the way that they are, it's like a relationship of like an abusive person. The abuser is like,
it can be called as a toxic relationship.
it's a toxic relationship because the abuser will be like, well, I'm helping her because, you know, she can't make any money or exist on her own. And it's like, well, you've prevented her from doing that in the first place. So stop acting like you're the hero, is the way that I see it.
But we have to empower them as well. You give them some identity, or else the only role or the existence of a cow will only be for its meat. If the cow does not have anything to, to provide, not provide, to, what do you call that? Give back
Right.
in a way.
That's the mindset I think we need to move away from, is to just see them as the individuals that they are, the souls that they are, without looking for what they can do for us. And that's the whole
But
idea
then what
of
will they do then?
veganism. They will live on this earth just like we do.
They will be. That's the thing again about cows. They can't protect themselves.
No, well, we will have to take care of them, but the idea is that we don't keep breeding more into existence.
Yeah,
I think
that part is true.
in a perfect world and in an ideal world, and people can hate me for saying this, I don't really care. In a perfect world, we would not continue to breed dogs, cats, and cows, and chickens, and all animals into existence. We would actually see the domesticated animals lower. We would see people going vegan and plant-based. This is a gradual shift over time to the point where these genetically modified domesticated animals no longer exist.
And there is nothing wrong in having this hope. This one example that comes to my mind. I'm just gonna give you you have to play that role.
Yeah, please.
This may sound a little insensitive, but this is the actual past that has happened with people. So imagine a person who was taken as a slave from their country to another country, sexually exploited, physically exploited, worked, everything that happens, sold, purchased, and everything. Will a person like to live that way or end themselves? What will be a good choice? Will you prefer living a life of a slave or taking your own life?
I think that this is a really good question. I think that I would not want to live the life of a slave.
So basically, if you have these two options, if you get an option, you will end it. I would end it, man. And I am not going to live like a slave.
Here's the difference. I would say not to breed a slave into existence in the first place.
But as a slave, what will you want to do?
So then that option isn't available. I think that the animal position that you're setting up right now is like, well, these animals already exist. I would rather rescue that slave, rescue that animal, let them live at a sanctuary and not continuing to breed to say, okay, I'm going to play God and I'm going to breed these slaves into existence, tell them when their expiration date is, set their purpose and say, here, now this is what your life is going to be. And this is what you have to do.
That is worst. But as a slave,
yeah.
What would be the right choice for that person?
If I'm already living and existing.
Let me give another example. When the slaves were in 1600s, 1700s,
I would want to escape.
African people would they can't escape. They are like shackled and everything.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they did not kill themselves.
Yeah.
Correct? They waited
Some
for
of
a
them
day.
did.
Some of them did, but many didn't. And look where they are now. So this is the hope that we also have. That we don't want to end this, but we want to give a place where there is no exploitation.
Yes.
Look where the Africans in America who were brought in as slaves.
Yeah.
Look where they are now. The entire sports is practically, ruled by them.
Okay, well, we don't want.
They are everywhere.
To be clear, we don't want to kill anyone. I don't want to kill any animals. I don't want to kill anyone.
No. As that person.
But I don't want to breed more of them into existence.
So that person who was a slave would have easily taken their life, but they survived that.
Right.
Because the future was there.
So
the same hope we have.
Yeah, and it's this
that the animals
idea.
will not get exploited.
People are breeding animals into existence, domesticated animals, because they are trying to look at what they can do for us. When you look at, purebred dogs, for example, people breed them into existence because they think that it'll look cute with their outfit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it. They will look cute with their outfit. Things like that. So it's like, I don't have this mindset of like, I want these animals because I want to see what they can do for me. I think that we have to also look at wild animal populations. 4% of all animals to exist are wild. That's not a lot, and it's decreasing. And it's because domesticated animals have taken over the land, from farming to raising food to clearing forests, for domesticated animals. And so that being said, we can actually increase wildlife and wild populations. We can rewild the earth that has been destroyed, and
that's not a bad mission to have.
Right. So that's the goal. And I think
that is the goal of your GV as well.
And you're leading it. And I think that with this idea of what Krishna did, it's bizarre to me that people would try to even compare themselves to what Krishna did. Krishna walked on water and held a mountain with his pinky finger. I don't see anybody here doing that. and therefore they should not be drinking dairy milk, ghee, or butter either. And really live in an alignment with those values. If it's all about love and peace and Krishna, then be vegan. You're already, I mean, vegetarian, you're almost there. But dairy,
Almost there.
dairy is liquid meat. I go to a lot of dairy farms and
So hellish.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have been there.
For people that worship cows and animals, I mean, it's not just India, it's everywhere.
You're not saying anything wrong, by the way.
I know I'm not.
You have the right to be,
I'm
you have
angry
the right
about
to be
it.
outspoken.
As I see these babies and I'm like, you're cute, and you're safe here, but like, oh my God, you just took the place of 7 cows that I just saw on the street that could have been here.
But we want to model this as well. We don't want the culture to die. If you see the dairy, Ayurveda, 50% of the medicines are dairy based.
It's terrible.
I know, but that's the thing. It's like a culture that we are trying to kill. So I'm not saying that, okay, go exploit a cow and do the deed,
Right.
do the needful.
Right.
But try to find out a way
To
where you're not exploiting.
Or how about replace the dairy with something so similar? I've been eating here for a month, and I will tell you the food is amazing.
Yeah.
There is nothing missing from any of those meals. I've been to Ayurveda
Nutrient
Center.
wise as well. Yeah.
Huh?
Nutrient wise as well. It is, yeah.
Absolutely. And I've been vegan for 7.5 years. And I get my blood work done every, year or so, and everything's fine. And, you look at somebody like Sharon and David have been vegan for 35, 40 plus years.
Yeah. We are in a thriving phase right now. We are not in the survival phase.
No,
So
exactly.
we have to take that step. We have to take that step towards less commercialized dairy products. And I am completely on hand with this.
But even the dairy that's here that's not commercialized.
Again, that culture. If that goes away, then dairy goes away forever. Do you want dairy to go away?
Yes, of course I do. That's
Then
what
Ayurveda goes away. Do you want Ayurveda to go away?
Ayurveda can be Ayurveda without the dairy. There's so
Are
many.
you sure?
There,
Go and talk to our doctor.
there is so many amazing.
He'll say leave.
I told him. I did
What
go
did
to
he
the
say?
center.
What did he say?
He said that he had another solution. My friend got bit by fleas, sand fleas, and his ankles were swollen. And we went to the Ayurvedic doctor, and we said that we were vegan and that we would absolutely.
Yeah, for some things they have the solution, but go more deeper into Ayurveda.
Amol,
And it's not just about Ayurveda. It's not just about Ayurveda.
tell me
It's
what.
about dairy.
Amul, there is nothing in breast milk from another species, not even my own mother's breast milk, that can solve an issue for me. There's absolutely, we are the only species past infancy to drink milk from another mother that's another species from us. It's just unnecessary at this point. And when you actually think about what we are doing, we are pushing the baby aside and sucking cow udders. It's like, am I in a bad dream here? Like, wake me up from this nightmare.
I agree to what you're saying.
It's
agree
listen,
to
we
it.
were talking about revolutionary, right? We were talking about Sharon earlier in this episode where she made the guy apologize to the dog. It is about starting to maybe say things that are unaligned with people that are here first and planting those seeds. And eventually I believe that it will sprout because it's the ethical, I think, right thing to do.
What the conditions are right now, I don't mind taking this non-traditional step. Maybe we'll bring back the tradition at a later stage. But as of now, the exploitation should stop.
Okay.
Can we at least have a deal here?
No.
As of now, because we can't let the culture die.
You are again.
Because I've lived that culture since my childhood. I have stayed with cows.
I have lived the culture too. Trust me. I grew up in a family, ate meat all the time, dairy, cheese. Again, it's taking ourselves out of it and not thinking through what am I gaining from this culture? It's my culture, it's my experience. It's just looking at it simply from the animal's point of view, the other perspective. I want to send you a video actually on ahimsa dairy that my friend Arvin made. He's from India. He's here. And by the way, there's many vegan Indian animal rights activists.
Yeah.
That,
They are increasing every day.
yeah, that are very outspoken against the dairy industry of all sorts of kinds. And I understand I am a white woman from New York City that has come here and maybe forcing my views, but
Whitewashing.
maybe a little bit. And so I am aware of that, and I will send you to other people that are able to speak to the culture that they too have grown up in.
Yeah.
You know. Besides that, you had a meeting earlier today about the dog and cat situation. So just tell me, as we begin to wrap things up, about your future plans for the animal programs here at GEV with the dogs and cats.
Well, we have shifted our topic, so I will do that. But
Unless you wanted to add something.
I just thought something that will actually make sense here.
Yes.
So even I may sound crazy while saying this, but in an ideal world, where if the cows are given a chance, where they can survive on their own in the wild, and they are safe in the wild, when the situation is like that, and we really want, see, if we don't have these insane missions and visions, then what's the point of being a human? Yeah. No one thought that we can fly in the air. We are flying in the air. Back then it was insane, right? So this is my insane thought,
Let me hear it.
that the day we make this world and the wildlife secure enough, and not just secure but sustainable, because wildlife needs to, eat each other in a way to sustain. That's what wildlife is.
Yes.
If cows can be set free and not, with the chances of them getting endangered, that's the time where this concept of no keeping the cow or no breeding the cow, that will make sense then. And we have to work towards that day.
That's never going to happen if you're breeding the same cow into existence, because that cow
We'll stop
has
that. We'll
DNA.
stop. So along with that, we'll also strive for a world where we'll make sure that the cows should not get hurt on their own.
No human interference.
No human interference.
That means no pulling from their udders.
Yes.
I wouldn't want some guy milking me.
Yeah.
It's, for me, it is sexual
Without
assault.
consent. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is complete sexual assault, violation of a female's body. And I look at cows, they are females. I look at chickens that lay eggs, those are her ovaries. And if you're a feminist, if you're somebody that believes in equality for men, women, females,
We need to
males,
talk about this as well.
this is absolutely with animals too. Animals are people. And that is how I see it. And they each have a soul. And that is the basis and premise of a lot of this, when we're talking about religion, spirituality, that we see here, even at the ashram, which people are on board with. And so it can be at first, even when I first started hearing about veganism, and before I was vegan, I was like, that is so extreme. I could never do that. Look where I am now. Sometimes it takes just a seed that's planted, and then from there,
it has to
grows.
grow. Yeah. And we have to keep, we can't be stiff in our mind. Like today I have a concept of that I'm putting forward. Maybe 6 months later, something I grow for good.
What's the concept?
When I said about domestication, when I say about conserving the culture, immediately in like next 5 minutes, I thought of this plan B, that I know this is not an ideal thing to keep them dependent on us. So let us make an environment for them where they are not dependent on us. Let us save them in an indirect way where we are not exploiting them. We are still being the, what do you call it? See, humans are the most advanced species. That's why they are practically controlling and destroying the world as well, unfortunately. So why can't we use the same to make world a better place?
Absolutely.
Like there are these Burmese pythons somewhere in some Florida or somewhere. They are literally killing all the wildlife. These pythons were got from some ship trade and all that.
Yeah.
So if we will not interfere, the other wildlife is finished. So we can't say this is nature.
Right.
So humans have the right, humans are the most advanced species. Why not use it for good rather than use it for bad?
With power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. Spider-Man's uncle said this. Yeah.
Did you see that with your daughter, I'm guessing, the other
When I was at my daughter's age, I have seen that. And I always remembered that.
Yeah, it is true. And so I believe that the strong should protect the weak and the
Empower the weak. protect the weak and empower the
like
weak
that.
so that they are not weak or dependent anymore.
Absolutely.
That's such a nice way of giving pleasure to one's passion as well. We sometimes human beings, we are passionate.
Yeah.
We want to make change. So why not make change in a way that will flourish life rather than destroy, like killing animals and all. That is also passion. And doing something great is also passion.
Well, you're doing that, and I've seen the work that you're doing with, the dogs and the cats that are here, and I am so appreciative and thankful for somebody stepping in and doing it. And you were expressing to me the other day how sometimes people will be resistant towards you when you're expressing these views. Why don't you just, as we begin to wrap things up, share how you've overcome some of these challenges?
Time has helped me a lot because sometimes a person, if he or she is convinced on something, nothing can change them. So when they suffer, at least they now know who to approach. If I wouldn't have approached them back then and taken a hard no from them, they would have no clue that there is someone who has a solution for this problem. So I just reach out without expecting what they will give me in return. Because I know one day this time bomb will explode, and when it explodes, they know where to come. So that's my technique. Not imposing anything, but just being there. Okay, brother, if I know now you don't want to do it, but in future, just in case you change your mind, you have my number. Like that. So if you think cows are suffering, you have no idea about how much dogs and cats are suffering. It's like times 100 into, at least cows are alive.
Right here in India, and then in America, it's like the opposite.
Okay, so that I don't know, but I'm talking about this place. And that's where we really need to help and control the population of cats and dogs, especially dogs. Because cats, they are controlled somehow the other. Because uh, dogs here, in a way, control cat population. And so it may sound horrible, but it is a fact. So you will never see as many stray cats as you see the dogs.
Wow.
Observe, go anywhere and observe this. There will always be more dogs. But there is no one to control the dog population. And that's where you see dogs on the roads, getting run over by cars, people hurting them, poisoning them. I myself know so many people who have actually poisoned their dogs because they keep barking in the night due to hunger. So this is where we need to bring a humane solution to their problem, and which is population control. And that's what I was after for so many months, so many years in this place. And that has finally started. So since the last 3 months, we have almost, now this will go on for years. And not just GEV, not just this place, but we'll also go to the villages around.
Amazing.
And we will start, sterilizing their dogs and cats. And this is the only solution for their population control. You can't just start killing them. You can't kill them. They keep giving birth. They keep giving birth. There are few states in India, like Kerala is there and some other states, where they actually kill the dogs. I think in Morocco this is happening now because of the World Cup. I think in Turkey this is happening as well. So this is not the solution.
No.
You need to make their breeding stop. You need to sterilize them. You need to spay and neuter them. That's where they will become less aggressive.
Right.
They will not become pregnant. They will not fight with each other. They will not hurt other humans. And along with that, humans are also getting problem because of rabies. So that problem will go down. So many problems will go down with this one solution.
Right.
And that's what we are after.
It's amazing. It's a vision that is coming to life, and
Yes.
you're leading it. And so thank you for all that you're doing, and for not eating animals as well, and aligning those values of seeing a soul, loving animals with your actions every day, and teaching your daughter those values. And
She teaches me now.
yeah.
She's 3 and almost teaches me the values that even I never thought about. Yeah.
Children know. They innately are attracted to animals and want to just love them,
Just show a child slaughterhouse and see what happens.
Right.
Take them to a farm and see what happens.
Exactly.
Forget about child. When I was an adult and when I saw, not adult, maybe in my teenage, and I saw a goat getting killed, It was the first time I saw an animal getting killed. And after that, I mean, I still continued eating because I was habitual to it. But then it took few more years for me to process it, understand it, and then act on it. The best thing that helped me in stopping eating non-vegetarian food was starting to stay with people who are vegetarians. Because if you're in the association of, you are who you hang out with basically.
Totally.
Tell me who your 5 closest friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Ooh, I love
It's
that.
like that.
Yep.
So when I started living, it automatically gave me the willpower to take that step. So the association, it played a very big role.
And it's only led to so many benefits for you from your athletic abilities. You're telling me you're taking 6-hour hikes pretty often. You box. I mean, you're strong, muscular, and I think that there's this stigma around when vegetarianism and sports and
There are so many vegetarian sports people. There are
Exactly.
so many vegans also. So I don't even, like you said, you do blood test every year. Even I do blood test every year.
Yeah.
And no protein has gone down on anything.
No, definitely not.
And even if it is going down, again, we are not in the survival stage, we are in a thriving stage.
Right.
So we have to work for our consciousness as well. Do things that will help us be a little more human rather than an animalistic human. And in this mode, we have so many other options. We have supplements, this, that. Back then, it was not there. So it was okay to eat non-veg. But back then, the thought process was also not, the sensitivity was not there. Now, another thing I've observed, men for the first time are taking chill pill since this generation. Before this, you see men, they are always in fight or flight mode. They were always in that. So that became their identity, that if you're a man, you have to be manly or else you're not a man. So even if that man did not have that alpha in him, he was supposed to protect his family. He was supposed to go on war.
Not
He
allowed
was
to
supposed
cry.
not allowed to cry,
Right.
work hard and everything.
Have to eat meat.
Nothing wrong in doing that. But if you don't want to do that, you had never had any option.
Right.
And now, if you see men in yoga also, yoga is a dominated by females since many decades. But you see now, the male participation is increasing day by day.
Yeah.
Because they are actually now taking a little step back. There are some females now who are changing roles,
Yeah.
but men are getting a chance to stay at home also
Totally.
without being judged as a non-manly man. So,
Absolutely.
their testosterone has not gone down. No matter how much soya bean they're eating, nothing has gone wrong with them.
No boobs from the soy.
No boobs. In fact, steroids that the people take, that gives those, belly and boob
Totally.
thing. Yeah.
Totally. And also the hormones that are naturally in any sort of dairy products can give people man boobs.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of estrogen in all dairy products. But this has been so enlightening, and it's so interesting for me as an activist in America and in New York to travel to someplace like India and see the state of animals here and to talk to somebody that's on the ground doing the work. Is there anything that you want to share, and also where can people connect with you, find you, something that we didn't cover yet?
So we are, as you said, the lady Lynette, she has her animal rescue shelter, and we are collaborating with that animal rescue shelter. And as of now, we don't have an animal rescue shelter, but that's our plan, to have a proper rescue shelter, not just for dogs and cats, but also for the cows, for the rescued donkeys, bulls, and to make a nice sanctuary. So there is already a sanctuary like this made by a son of a billionaire called as Mukesh Ambani. So his son's name is Anant Ambani. So in Gujarat, he has made an entire forest where he keeps rescued elephants and all rescued animals and this and that.
Wow.
So as of now, we may not be able to do something on that scale, but even if we start small, you never know.
Absolutely.
With proper help and proper outreach, we can do a lot more than what we are doing. But I'm glad that it has started. It took a lot of time to start. We were taxiing on the runway for a long, long time, but the flight was not taking off. But now it has took off and there is no looking back. So starting a full-fledged animal shelter, especially for the animals who are suffering because of us only. Us as in humans. So I put myself in everyone's category. I know another human who is doing harm to animal, there has to be some reason. You can't just be wrong. You can't just be evil. Yeah. So we work on that also. We are not just working on helping animals. If I feel helping humans is a bigger job because I myself can help, let's say, 100 animals. But if I make 10 people and they each help 50-50 or 100-100, then it becomes more than 100. It becomes 10,000 one day.
Right.
So we are not just working for the animals to help them, but we are also working on the human beings
Good.
to bring them to a state of consciousness, to state of awareness,
Yeah.
where they can make a difference for good. Use that passion for good.
Amazing. Well, thank you for all that you're doing. And I'm going to link Lynette's Instagram handle below as well as yours,
Yes.
where people can connect and follow. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and learned as much as I did. And please support some of the work that they're doing here in India. It really does go a long way, considering that the rupee to the dollar, I mean, $10 can feed a bunch of animals for quite some time.
Quite some time, as in just in less than $100, we end up doing the sterilization, the post-operation care, and almost 1 to 1.5 years of food
Wow.
for just one dog
For $100?
for $100.
400?
$100.
100. I will be donating for sure. And so you guys know where to find me. I'm at It's Jamie's Corner. Please go check out the life-saving work that they are doing here and also the Govardhan Eco Village. I do have hope that we can get this to a full-fledged sanctuary one day. And thanks so much for watching and thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. This was, as I said, once the intent is there, automatically the universe helps. So we just don't need to give up.
Totally.
Giving up is the problem. So I didn't give up. We didn't give. I'm not the only one. There are more people here who are also willing to do the same work.
Yeah.
And not giving up is the reason why this is happening. It took a while, but no stopping now.
No stopping now. All right, guys. See you around. Bye.